does 20 years in Uruguay feel?
Oh, of course, it's passed by really quickly because life passes by really quickly. It's a good feeling. It's a really good feeling. We've traveled around a lot. We lived in lots of different places in Europe, in Latin America, in the States before we came here, and our son didn't like change at all. And so the idea was that we should stay in a place so that he could do primary school and make friends. And we never left. And he's now like 24 years old, so we never left. He's actually not living here right now, but I think he'll be back because he's he's the honorary Uruguayan of the family. But yeah, we're here and no plans to leave.
And what do you love the most about being here?
Gosh, I really like the people, especially in the world today that's so full of conflict. I think that here the people are they're reasonable. I went to a political event where 4 candidates that were trying out to be nominated as the leader of their party were debating, and I just remember thinking that the discourse was so reasonable, so amiable. I absolutely love that. I also love the way that in Uruguay everybody's kind of on the same level. I once met the Minister for Tourism, and when I asked her if she would be attending an event that I was arranging, she said to me, "Oh yes, I've got it in my agenda, let me show you." And she gets out her cell phone and she's literally like next to me, flicking through her cell phone, showing me, and she's like, "Oh, there it is. I told you that I was going to be going." I was like, "Great, thanks." And when I asked Uruguayan friends of mine, like, how can this be? They said to me, well, you know, we're a small country, 3.5 million people, and that, you know, she could be your neighbor. And here what I love, people call each other, "Hey neighbor." That's in the street, right? You've noticed that too. I really love that kind of egalitarian part of Uruguayan society.
Yeah. When did you realize that Uruguay was going to be your home?
After having lived here for about 6 years. Yeah, that was when it was kind of like, was the moment where we could have said, okay, we're going to go and live somewhere else, and instead we said, no, we're going to stay, well, at least for now, and then it just carried on.
And let's see.
Well, I have no desire to live anywhere else, to be honest. Yeah, to go and live temporarily, sure, no problem, but I see myself continuing to live here. Has everything that I want.
I heard that destiny played an important part in your story in Uruguay. Can you tell us why?
Yes. Well, I didn't actually realize this until we'd been living here for quite a few years, maybe more than 10 years. A friend of ours sent me a photograph of a photograph and said, "Can you believe this?" It was a photo that she'd taken when we moved to Buenos Aires. My partner and I moved to Buenos Aires in 1992. We were not married then, we had no kids then. And I was very excited about living in Buenos Aires. I was, how old? I was 26. I was like, yeah, you know, such a cool city. And we'd been living in Costa Rica before that, and it felt like a small town to me. It was not what I wanted. So I was like, yeah, back in the big city, etc. This friend came to meet us at the airport when we arrived, and then she stayed with us for about 5 days and took photographs of us as we were going around, around. And this photograph was this photograph. My understanding is that there are well over 30,000 streets with 30,000 names in Buenos Aires. And this is the street that I chose. Look at my face! Look, I just absolutely, I love this photograph and I can't believe it. So yeah, when I saw that 8 years before we actually moved here, when I'd never been to Uruguay in my life, I had no idea that it was across the water. I mean, I was like most people that go to Argentina, they have no idea. And yeah, so to see this photograph, it took my breath away.
Oh, that's so nice.
It's amazing.
Okay, thank you, Karen.
No, thank you.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you.